Hi, Carl here for Pro VTV, and I'm at the Canon stand at IBC 2018 talking to Barry. Right, so the EOS R is a huge launch for you guys, really, isn't it? How's it been?
It has been phenomenal. It's been so good to get this camera onto the marketplace. Yeah. I know people have been waiting for Canon to launch out a mirrorless system.
I have.
And that's what I know you have, and we have done that. So this is a big game changer for us. This is the future for Canon, this whole system that we're talking about. And I love having this in my hand. Every time I put it in my hand these days, I just smile. So going on about what the system is.
Yeah, because obviously we get a lot of feedback on the channel and all the rest of it about the camera specifically. But it's exciting, yes. Sure, but it's also equally got some problems. But what's really exciting is the whole system.
That's exactly it. So when we're talking about moving on with the system, we know what happened with the EF system when it came out. Moving from FD to EF, I think people then even thought that was a bad move, but we now see how popular and how phenomenal that changed lenses for Canon and for shooters going forward. And now with the RF system, we're changing it to the next level. So breaking it down, I'm going to go straight into it because I love talking about this, Carl.
Absolutely.
Breaking it down, this is the new mount. And this is going to change things going forward long term for Canon.
Yeah,
yes, we talked.
One question that
sure.
we got was, is this going to be as big for you guys as the EF mount and
yes, it is.
EF lenses? Yeah.
It is going forward long term. So we're talking about 30 years. They said for the next 30 years, this is going to be the system that's going to change things. So with this mount going onto it, we have the large open diameter, 54 millimeters, the same as the EF. Yep. So did a good thing then back in the late 80s going with 54.
You knew what you were doing.
We knew what we were doing straight away, so we could offer things. But now with the flange distance going down to 20 millimeters, this is now allowing us to get the optics from our lenses closer to the sensor, where we can actually really start to push what optics can do going forward. And that's the exciting thing about this. Not only that, a lot of people don't know that we've gone for 20 millimeters because it's also a strong mount. The screw system we have in here, the build system we have on here, will be able to handle and deal with heavier lenses easier. So we've thought about that going forward as well, because some of the glass, as you know, like even the new 2870, which we will talk about, heavy piece of glass, this system can hold it because it's been thought about as well. So the other thing that a lot of people don't know or are not looking at either really is about our connection points. So we now have 12 points.
And how many was on here?
8. So now having a closer connected system, so the actual distance of signal is shorter, having 12 pins allows for more data, more information to be transferred from lens to body and body to lens to give better performance on the lens, not only as in IES and electronics, but the optical information for chromatic aberration and things like that can be sent through and improved. Yeah. That's where that's going to really change on the lens as well, so that's great.
Now, one thing I noticed when I was playing with this at the launch event was I had a C200 there and I had this, and it was real low light, it was way lower light than I would ever expect autofocus to work, and sure enough, the C200 was struggling sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it would nail it straight on, sometimes it would seek, which is probably one of the only times I've actually seen that from the C200. This was rock solid all the time. Yeah. Do you reckon that's because of the new lenses, or is that because of this increased data throughput? So
it's a bit of both. Yeah. It is about the data information that's been sent from the lens. You're shooting with, I think you were shooting with the F4, the 24105, but the information being sent through was getting to the processor quicker via the sensor. The processor was dealing with that data quicker, so it was able to perform better in AF in low light. So that's technically, in a sense, what was actually happening. It is about the Digigate processor. So you have an older Digic DV processor in the C200, and of course you're also looking at an EF mount, so that's why you'll have that. So that kind of proves the point, in one sense, of how this is going to step us going forward in low light performance. And as you know, as a stills photographer, when you're using it, it does go down to -6 EV. Yeah. And the way we've done that is the sensor, the processor, the flange distance, the information going through. It's a sequence of things that's allowing that to happen, not one or two things.
Now, let's talk about the crop for a little bit, because
sure.
I've got to ask you about the crop.
Yeah.
Why are Canon still giving us a crop in 4K?
So the whole thing about Canon is all about image quality. It wants to deliver the best image quality for the longest period of time continuously. With the 4K crop, which is similar to a Super 35, yes, it's 1.7, similar to the Super 35, this allows for up to 29 minutes, 59 seconds of 4K recording without any heat sinking issues, reduces any digital noise and artifacts going on the sensor because of heating, and it assists also with the signaling to reduce rolling shutter. So we do full frame cameras. And if you're looking for a proper full-frame camera, you know what's out there to do that. Yeah. It's all down to, for us, to make sure that we get the best imaging performance and the best quality to do that continuously. We could have done that in here, but I think people would be potentially disappointed thinking you have those restrictions that full-frame 4K offers on the marketplace.
I mean, I'm disappointed that it's not full-frame video, but I'd also be disappointed if it overheated. I'd also be disappointed if it had image quality issues. So I guess it's just managing.
It is managing. This is it's still a physical stills camera as a full-frame sensor inside it, but it's bringing down the crop factor to a good area that's giving a 1-to-1 ratio readout, giving us similar to Super 35. As most professionals out there, as we know, they shoot on Super 35. They should be used to this. So if they're using lenses on that, they'll use on this. It will give them the equivalence. So personally, I don't see it as a major issue, and you're getting that performance.
Either, to be fair. I mean, it's a disappointment, but I use most of the time for this channel, I use a C300 Mark II or a C200. And so this being a similar sensor size in 4K doesn't bother me. Plus, because you can now use EFS lenses and it will auto crop in stills mode, I can basically treat this as a Super 35mm camera.
Exactly.
I mean, so it's a shame, but it's certainly not a deal breaker for me. But yeah, I know a lot of people.
I know a lot of people are. We get it. We understand it. There's products out there that offer that. It's on the spec sheet, and you can do it. And it's fantastic that they're doing it. But Canon's very conscious about making sure it delivers the best optimal performance from the camera that's targeted. Let's see what happens going forward in the future. I'm sure that we can get better cooling systems, or the technology will allow for that 4K won't heat things up. Because as we know in professional cameras, they have cooling systems for the same reason. And that's why you don't want to put it in here at this time moment, especially in our mid-range camera.
Overall though, I'm super excited about it. I was really happy with the images that I was getting from it. The video looks really good, really clean in low light as well, which surprised me, really did.
This is the whole thing. The people who are actually shooting with this, the people who are actually interacting with this camera, you're seeing them saying, oh, guess what? You shouldn't be reading spec sheets. You should get this in your hand and you'll see what it can do. Some people have, and they're finding the good points and bad points, as you find in every camera, that people will actually like and do. But the statement we've made with this camera, the physical camera itself, which is great for the low light performance, the AF, but this, as I said, this is the exciting thing. This is the exciting part of the future for Canon.
I can't wait to see more lenses.
You can see me, this is just going to be such a wonderful time over the next few years where optics are going to be able to go because of what we're able to do with this new
Cool. Thank you so much.
No, absolute pleasure. Thank you, Carl.